Today, we're talking all about repetition and how it can make you richer in your business. Let me just repeat myself. Today, we're talking about repetition and how it can make you richer in your business. Now, before we dive into the video today, don't forget to hit subscribe, click the notification bell so that you never miss out on any of my videos. Today, we're talking about repetition. Okay, and the reason we're talking about repetition is it's important to remember to repeat ourselves for a number of reasons. Now, if you think back to when you were learning your skills, the skills that you use to perform whatever treatments or services that you provide your clients, well, the chances are you didn't just do it once or read a book and you were immediately able to do what you do to the level that you do. The chances are you had to learn several times over, practice many more times, work on clients, and it was in that process of repetition or practice that honed your skills to wherever they are right now. So what has all this got to do with your business? Well, I think there are 6 key lessons we can take from this that you can apply to your business, and we'll go through those right now. So first of all, as we've said, repetition is essential to your understanding. I've said this before and I will keep saying this until it sinks in. Repetition is the key to your understanding. Like I said, if you remember when you were learning your times tables or riding a bike, you didn't just see them once or get on a bike once and that was it, you could do it. It took time, and the more times you did it, the better you got. Number 2, action rarely happens on the first encounter. You'll probably know if you've got kids, if you tell them to pick up their toys, chances are they don't do it on the first one. If they're anything like mine, they don't do it on the first time you tell them. Probably have to tell them 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 10, maybe 20 times before they actually get around to doing it. Action rarely happens on the first encounter. So often it takes several times of telling someone something, showing someone something, showing an advert to someone before they actually take action. Now, number 3, you can freshen up old content with a new angle. So instead of constantly having to come up with new stuff for your social media or for your marketing or for your blog post or for your podcast or however you communicate with your clients, often you can take something that you've already done a bit of time ago, 2-3 months ago, and you can take that same topic and come at it from a different angle or just add to it, dust it off, update it, whatever you want. But it doesn't mean you have to start from scratch and create something entirely new, because the benefit here is the more you talk about the same things, the more people associate that with you. And at number 4, your stuff is always new to someone the first time they see it. Think about that. The way our marketing works these days, especially social media and blog posts and any way that you communicate with people, even if it's an advert that you put outside of your shop or your salon, the first time someone sees that is always the first time they've seen it. So you could keep putting new stuff up, or even the same stuff up, over and over again, and it will always be new to someone. If you're holding back from using the same stuff, from talking about the same topic, from posting the same thing exactly the same as it was that you used a few months ago again, if it's still relevant, why? No one's going to get offended by it, and the chances are, given the algorithms that are used in social media these days, it's always going to be seen by a new portion of your audience every time you post it. And even if someone has seen it before, they're not going to write you a complaint letter saying, oh, that was very lazy of you posting the same thing again. They're just going to think, oh, that was a great post last time. Maybe I'll read it again. And at number 5, people love familiarity. Like I said, talking about the same thing over and over again from a number of different angles, from a number of different arguments, in different ways, adding more to the last thing that you said, building on stuff. Talking about the same thing builds familiarity. People get to know what you're about. If I go back to the analogy that I made of the person at the party, if you constantly meet that friend of a friend at various parties and they have the same interests and the same jobs, next time you see them, you can start that conversation much more easily, because you can say, oh, last time I saw you just taken up cycling. How's it going? Oh, it's going great. I've actually just taken part in my first road race. Suddenly that connection is much stronger. Does that make sense? So if you constantly talk about the same thing or the same things on your social media, in your marketing to your clients, that message will start to sink in, and that association in their brain will start to kick in for them. And this brings me on to point 6, which is pillar content. Okay, you should have, rather than talking about anything that comes into mind, you should have 4, 5, or 6 pillars that you always talk about in your business. You talk about them from multiple different angles, but if you constantly talk about the same few things, that's what people get to associate you with. They feel more of a connection with you. So your pillar content is really important. Come up with a few topics that you're passionate about. A couple of them can be personal, some of them can be work related, but come up with those key kind of high level topics that you are passionate about and you want to constantly be known for, and then talk about those. And always make sure that all of your posts in some way relate to those things so that people can relate to you much more easily. Okay, I hope that's been really useful for you today. Don't forget, repeat yourself often and frequently, and do not be afraid to repeat yourself time after time after time after again, because it will increase your association. Ultimately, it will make you richer. If you've enjoyed this YouTube video, you should know that there's a lot more goodness out there on this topic over on my podcast. Now, there's a link in the description below to go straight to the podcast page, or just search for the Beauty Business Podcast on your favorite podcast app.